What's going on, y'all? So listen.
What's going on, y'all? I know y'all wasn't expecting this. Actually, I wasn't expecting this, but let's just talk about it. So, if you have not watched this movie that's on BET Plus, and if you don't have it, you can keep on watching because I'm about to talk about it. If you do have it and you haven't watched it and you don't want no spoilers, I suggest you just click off, okay? Because I'm about to be spoiling and telling you exactly what happened in the movie. Um, so it's this movie called The Reading on BET Plus, right? And I'm not sure if it came out this weekend or if it came out. It just came out. It just came out. Okay. So, y'all got some time to watch it or whatever. And I would suggest you watch it. I know that if you've been on some of the blogs, you probably seen some people talk about it or whatever. And, try to make it seem like, oh, I ain't dealing with these spirits or whatever and all that stuff. Listen, it's nothing really like that. Is it? No, it's nothing really like that. It's nothing really like that. It's the premise that make you think that that's what it was, because I literally thought that that's where it was really going, but it really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It was a plot twist that you probably could have saw coming, but then again, they did it well, in my opinion, that I wasn't expecting it. But you know, I will say the main reason why I'm doing this is because this is like Monique. Monique's first, I don't know if it's her first, but I'm pretty sure. Ever since the controversy that happened between, and the fallout that happened between Monique and Lee Daniels, and, the Precious movie and all of that, and then them finally making up after all these years, and then, her taking a spot. I think this was the movie that Octavia Butler was supposed to be playing her character, and then Octavia Butler, for whatever reason, had to drop out, and so therefore, especially after Lee Daniels and Monique had made up, he got her on board, her and her husband on board, because I believe her and her husband are executive producers of the movie as well. And you know what? I feel like they got the right person. They got the right person, because the movie was suspenseful. The movie was like, okay, for me. And I'm saying all of this, and it's not me hyping it up. This is my true feelings or whatever. Because sometimes we have to be honest. Sometimes these little TV shows, TV movies or whatever, they're just like Lifetime. They're hit or miss. And that's the same thing with BET. But I'd rather look at a BET movie than anything, because some of the times, you just know not to go in there with high expectations. You just looking for a feel-good movie or something to just make you laugh or get your mind off of something or whatever. That's just basically what it is. So when I went into this, mainly because I miss Monique acting, like acting for real. We just saw her on BMF. If you have not seen the new episode of BMF, she is playing Goldie on there. And even though she wasn't on there that long, she had an impact on me, baby. I was all the way here for it, okay? So I really hope, because I liked her character, I hope they bring her back throughout the season. Please don't let it just be that one particular episode that she's on there. But anyway, so we get up into the movie. It's a psychological thriller. That's what it is. And I like I said, I know people were saying, oh, I live alone. I can't be watching this and all this stuff. I can't deal with this type of stuff. Now, if you that type of person, maybe this ain't for you. But then again, like I said, it kind of starts off and gives you that feeling that it's going to be playing around with spirits and stuff like that. But then it takes a totally different turn. Okay, it takes a totally different turn. And so I love the genre of a horror movie that's my favorite. Okay, that's my favorite genre, and psychological thrillers and suspense and stuff like that. And so this was up my alley. So you get into the movie and you have Monique playing Emma, and you have her husband, who she's married to. Well, of course, that's her husband. It's some white man. Girl, and I seen that, I said, Monique, you and Mr. White? All right, and he was loving. I said, oh, you love that lady. Okay. And she has two kids, okay? Kendall and Kyron, I think. And Kyron, like, he had to be at least like 4 years old, something like that. Kendall looked like she was a good 13, 14, around 13 to 15 years old. She look around that age, you know. And you could tell that the husband, he's very much like the breadwinner of the family. He looked like he probably was up in finances, but they said that he was like jury or whatever. He gave off that impression, but I think he was dealing in jury. And you know, when the movie comes on, this is how you should have known something was gonna happen. Because I was sitting here looking at it, and I was just like, why everybody so cheery and cheerful? And I mean, I get it, because sometimes, you know, you see this and it's just not you I don't know, like in a lot of movies you're just not used to, you know, the kids, especially these days, these kids and they mouths and all this stuff. Some of these kids be so goddamn ungrateful. But you know, when Emma came into the house, you got the little boy Kyron, mommy, and then, you know, she doing all the hugging and all that stuff. And I said, girl, and how old, when you had this baby? Miss Monique, or I should say Miss Emma, when you had this baby? But, you know, he was all loving on her and missing her and, you know, just wouldn't want to let go of her, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So then, you know, she was getting ready to take him up there to give him a bath and all that stuff. And then her daughter comes in and they're all lovey-dovey with each other. And, you know, sometimes in these movies they portray what happens in a lot of, you know, mother-daughter relationships with, you know, them not necessarily getting along. They bumping heads, especially in the teenage years. But they were just like, you're the best mother in the world and you're the best daughter and all this stuff. It was just too unbelievably cheery. Like, everybody was just so happy to see everybody. And I'm sitting here like, is this a dream? Is this a dream? You know, but it wasn't at this particular moment. So, you know, she was like, I'm finna get ready to go up here and cook. She went in the kitchen. She was cooking. Next thing you know, we see little Kendall. She up in her room. She texting and doing whatever she doing to listen to her music. You know, and you got Emma, she's downstairs in the kitchen and she's cooking. She got the music playing and she vibing all to it. You got the husband in his office doing some business deals or whatever, and you got little Kyron up in the tub. Now see, that disturbed me right then and there, because I said, why is he in that tub? First of all, I did say he looked like around 5 or 6, 4 or 5, but I believe he was like around 3 or 4, somewhere in there. Either way, he needed to be in there supervised. I said, somebody better get up in there and be in the tub with him, like somebody sit up in the bathroom with him. Why is he playing up in the tub by himself? It don't matter how little the water is, things can happen to these kids, you know what I'm saying? It don't take much. It don't take much. So that kind of confused me. I said, oh, why is he in there by himself? What is going on? And mama, you got the music up so goddamn loud. What if something happened and you can't get to him because you couldn't hear him? You know what I'm saying? I was confused and concerned about that. That was my second eyebrow raise, okay? You know. And then all of a sudden we see some people come in masked up and everything, like ninja style. They finna rob the house. That's what I'm thinking, okay? I'm thinking they just finna rob the house, or they thought that it was some people, that the house was gonna be empty, and then they realized that it's not and they was just gonna go away. Girl, no. They came up in there, they looking up at everybody room and stuff, and I was just like, excuse me? You know, at one point, you know, what's her name? Emma, she felt like somebody was in there, so she turned the music off or whatever, and she looked around, and then she turned the music back on. Same thing with the little girl. She felt like somebody had came in, and then she was like, and then she went back to texting and doing what she was doing. Baby, when they came up into the daddy's office, all of a sudden they had something in their hand and they came right down on his head, because they was right behind him while he was in his chair. I said, oh shit, he gone. I said, so this ain't no robbery? Like, why we gotta kill? We can't just rob him and y'all covered up or whatever. You couldn't just tat him up or whatever and put him in the basement and then take what you need to go and just leave? Like, I just didn't understand. Next thing you know, the little girl getting suffocated in her room, okay, and then the baby is getting drowned. I said, oh my God. But the part that really got me was when Emma was getting her ass beat by them. When that nigga started, bam, 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 bam. I said, oh my God. I said, Monique, get up, girl. You gonna let him do that to you? All that shit you be talking or whatever. Girl, you better kick back. You done lost some weight or whatever. We can move now. Move that leg. Bam, 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 bam. Girl, Monique was just laying down there on that floor like this. I can't do shit. Okay, girl, she tried to walk, or oh no, she tried to pull herself up a little bit. She put her hand up on the counter because she on the floor trying to pull herself up, right? Baby, why did they come back, grabbed her hand, and cut off her pinky finger? I said, what? I said, oh my goodness, what is happening? Why y'all doing this? Baby, when they did all of that, girl, she fell on that floor in pain. Next thing you know, dude came back with a chair, one of them round chairs or whatever, like a stool, and took the part and just, it's like he hit her in the throat or something. I said, oh my God, like he was trying to decapitate the bitch. I said, wait a minute, this was too much. And then it was like a year or two later after this, we see, you know, she's on a talk show circuit. I think it said a year later. She survived the attack. Her family didn't. So now she's profiting off of it, telling her story with a book that she wrote called The Invasion. You know what I'm saying? And she's doing this talk show interview, and she's talking about how what went down. You know what I'm saying? And when you're listening to her, you hear her voice. It's not really there. It's cracking, and you gotta talk like this, and you know I'm trying to get my words. That's how she was talking, right? Or I should say speaking. That's how she was speaking. And I was just like, damn, they did must have. Because at first I didn't know if the dude that came down with the stool or whatever, I didn't know if they hit her on top of her head or if they hit her in her throat. And the way that she was speaking, I was like, maybe they hit her in her throat and it messed up her voice box, okay? Her vocal cords and all that stuff. You know, so she was badly injured to the fact that, you know, mama's still walking with a cane. She can't walk that fast. She can barely speak, you know, in her normal tone and her normal speech pattern. You know, it's staccato and all that stuff. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Meanwhile, we get off of her, you know, and then we get on to some other people that's in the show or in the movie. We have this scene where we see these 4 people who are, you know, you got Sky, you have Jess, you have Greg, and you have Randy. Now, see, they have this scheme going on, and this is when we realized that it was a scheme that was happening. Jess is like the nurse because that's literally what her profession was, or, you know, she worked in the hospital, and she was there to make sure that Sky, who is the psychic of the group, because it's like this psychic scheme. It was very much giving me Miss Cleo, okay? And then I need y'all to go see They Call Me Cleo, or Call Me Miss Cleo, on HBO Max. That was a good documentary. We still don't know shit about Miss Cleo. We just know that she was a liar. But anyway, it is what it is. May she rest in peace. But she was supposed to be the psychic of the group. And then you got Greg, who was her boyfriend, I believe. And he just I feel like he was like the ringmaster of the group. You know, he was the main person that was putting everything together, getting them gigs or whatever, getting them schemes and stuff, and the next victims, okay? He was the one that was doing that. And then Randy, he does the electronics and stuff to record and everything. And they're sitting down talking to one of their clients, or this one particular boy named Johnny, talking about, you know, trying to connect him to his mama. His mama said this, and, you know, as you look at the people, you look at Greg, who was standing up behind Sky, and then you look at Jesse. Look at their facial expressions, and I'm just confused as to why Johnny didn't realize that he was getting played right then and there. Because if you look at their facial expressions, Jesse was trying so hard not to laugh at him, you know, and Greg kept on shaking his head like this, you know. And then at one point, you know, Scott was like, she's about to leave, the door is about to close or whatever. That's what they say when they always, if you look at like The Conjuring and all that stuff, these horror movies or whatever like that, when they connecting with some spirits from the other world, girl, they always, the door is about to close, the door is about to close, or this door open and all this stuff. I said, close that bitch, put a padlock on it. We ain't got time for it. We do not have time for it, okay? We is black. We don't play with spirits like this. What is y'all doing, okay? Our ancestors used to do that because, baby, they knew what they was doing. You up here playing with stuff and you finna leave, you finna open up the door and bring a whole bunch of bullshit into this fucked up world already. Leave that on the other side, baby. If you ain't real versed, then it don't do it, okay? All this for money. You know, I said, what is happening? Mr. Johnny is just like, oh no, she got something else to say? What's going on? I said, Johnny, they laughing at you. One is shaking their head at you. And he was like, they basically got him to gonna say, your mama said, go into your trust fund, your college trust fund, and get some money to this children's organization or whatever. They had to make it seem believable. And he was like, sure. Girl, he took out his checkbook or whatever and started writing the check and everything. I said, what? Now, Johnny boy, are you really that? I said, you know what? And I can't even be talking about him because that is literally how, especially back in the day when them little psychic networks used to pop up with the Miss Cleo and all that stuff. Oh my goodness, you guys, y'all have to watch that documentary, Call Me Miss Cleo, on HBO Max, because they explain how all of that worked and how literally none of them, as we already knew, none of them knew anything about the psychic stuff or whatever. They were lying. It was a script that they were reading. And that is exactly what these kids was doing to that boy. And somehow these people, they will get them. And they be so desperate for answers, so desperate for connection, they'll go ahead and listen to it or whatever. And so that's what wound up happening with this boy. And so after that, you know, while Sky was in the midst of doing a reading, you know, she faking it off and everything. But before she told him about the money, she got real serious and she got still for a second and she just kind of like zoned out. And so basically what wound up happening is, the mama really was connecting with him or with her or whatever. So she said, or something was touching her or tried to touch her. That's what she said, like a spirit tried to touch her, whatever. Because she had to explain it to Greg, her boyfriend, you know, afterwards, because she sat down and she was like, listen, I've been through this before. You know, if a spirit try to touch you or whatever, they possess you. I don't want to go through this no more. I don't want to do this anymore. This is it, because, you know, it was scary to her for a second. You know what I'm saying? She didn't want to experience that anymore. Like, she do got little psychic abilities, but they're taking advantage of it and she's not truly using them. She's putting out false stuff. And she just don't want to do that anymore. She want to do something else. But mostly Greg is, you know, using her so that they can get money. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he's in his feelings about it. And I'm like, listen to her. And I said, girl, you ain't got to do nothing. Of course, you know, he wants to put it out there, well, you know, you living with your mama and y'all about to get evicted. Y'all got all these bills and stuff, whatever. So you need to go ahead and finish doing this or whatever. And I said, how dare you guilt trip her with her own life story and all this stuff? What are you doing? What are you doing to help her besides using her? That's messed up, okay? What type of friend or boyfriend you are, you know? And so at one point she was just like, I'm done, you know, I'm over it. It is what it is. You know, she came home. We see her living situation with her mother. She's also in school. You know, her mother is smart. She's very smart as well. And, you know, she was talking about the bills and stuff. And, you know, the mama was asking, where did you get this money from? And she was like, it was just some stuff that I'm doing. She said, listen, I don't want you to have to worry about these bills. That is my situation. You don't worry about anything. You go do what you got to do for school and everything else. I got a friend that's coming over that's dropping off some money. She said, girl, what you talking about? What type of friend? Now, I had to ask that too, right? So later that day, I think, you know, they got called or whatever to have a group meeting. Randy, Jesse, and Greg. But, Sky showed up at the little coffee house, and Jesse showed up, and she wanted Jesse to be there early so that she could tell Jesse, listen, girl, I'm about to tell you that, you know, I'm about to leave. I'm not going to be doing this no more. But before she could say that, Greg had already put out there that they going to do this other one more, like, they got another person. The next scam is Emma, Monique's character, right? And I said, that is messed up, right? It was like her sister-in-law, who just so happened to be named Ashley, and I couldn't stand that bitch, okay? She hooked them up or whatever, and basically they want to do this to make it look real, to help sell books, you know, with the home invasion. And this is something that Emma really wanted. But see, Emma thought that it was real, but Ashley knows that it's fake and that she's helping him set it up and all this stuff or whatever. And then it was like, she'll give us $20,000, and if we put this out there, we can get like $100,000 from it and all that stuff. That's like $20,000 each. And I'm sitting here like, so it really is just about the money. You do not care about what this girl just said. This girl just sat here and told you that she is scared. She don't want to play with these spirits no more, because at this point it's getting a little bit dangerous, and it's getting, she got to live with this. Y'all don't, okay? And you just gonna go ahead and book this. And so she said, nigga, I'm out of here, you know? And so she left, and she go home. She listening to her iPod or whatever and her music. And girl, she turned them things down because she was hearing some stuff. Mama was in there getting fucked for some money, okay? I said, child. And that was the reason why she called Greg and said, listen, okay, so we'll do it, okay? They get over there to Emma's place. Emma has, first of all, Emma is staying in the same house. She is staying in the same house where all these people, her family, got killed. You know what I'm saying? And I just said, no, baby, I just would never been able to do that. I would have to leave. You know, she still know the code and everything, and it's like a smart house. Like the alarm system, the locks and everything are by a digital code, you know, so the whole house is just shut down. You know what I'm saying? I don't like stuff like that, because what if stuff malfunction and I'm trying to get up out the house? If something go wrong, let's say a fire break out, I'm trying to get out the house. What if the code all of a sudden say, bitch, this ain't it, and then want to lock me in? Girl, I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't deal with stuff like that. Baby, y'all saw Megan. Y'all saw iRobot, okay? Girl, ain't nobody got time for that. Meanwhile, we see the sister-in-law, who is her PR/manager, and I'm sitting here like, I don't like this lady as it is, okay? Because she was just too flippant at the mouth. She was just, you know, she was just too much, okay? You couldn't even hide the fact that you was faking it in front of your sister-in-law. For her, you just so matter of fact and let's get this shit over with and all this stuff. And it just felt like she was literally just there with Emma to take for the money. That's what it was. Like, she was trying to use Emma for money as well, and trying to get a little bit of fame off of that as well. She was using her too. That's just what it was, you know. So they look around the house and look at the kids' rooms and stuff like that. Then they go sit at the table and they start the reading. They start setting up stuff. But once we go in there, we realize that they cannot get any reception, like no Wi-Fi reception, except for this one particular part in the front of the door, in the front foyer. As soon as you come in, it's just this one particular spot that you can get some reception, but anywhere else in the house, you cannot. And I said, well, how was that when the daddy was up in there doing all his stuff? I feel like she did that afterwards. Like, who did that? You know, because he had to been in there doing some stuff or whatever on the computer and all that stuff. So why would you be up in the house that you can't get? I mean, stuff happens. It is what it is. But so then after that, they sit down and they start doing a test, you know. So asking the questions, you know, say the people name. The husband name was Matthew, Kendall, and Kyron. They said it back a couple of times. And then all of a sudden, Sky starts saying stuff about, you know, this was this, and you like this, and you like to hug the kids, and you like to promise them this and do all this stuff or whatever. And so at this point, you know, she's saying some things and it's connecting with Emma like, oh my God, how would you know that? Oh, you're a Scorpio. You did this and you did that. And so she said, listen, I'm going to have to stop, because then she started singing a song or whatever. And the sister-in-law, oh, she was like, you like to cook for your family and you like to make a lot of crawfish. And then the sister-in-law, she gonna say, oh, that ain't nothing new. That's what all black people like to do. Come on. I said, excuse me, bitch. Jesse had to say something too. Like, listen, ma'am, you gonna have to shut your ass up. I said, you trying my nerves, Miss Girl. I said, mama gotta go. Mama gotta go. I don't know how. I don't know where this is going, but mama gotta get up out of here somewhere. Somebody gotta call her out and say, bitch, you are playing games, okay? And she gotta get fired. So then, you know, she had to take a break, because she was like, you know, it was when they started singing a song, and she was like, how did she know about that song? And Ashley had to come clean and was like, yeah, I told them some stuff, but I ain't tell her about no song because I ain't know nothing about no song or whatever. Woo, woo, woo. And so, you know, just let them finish and then we'll leave and all that stuff. Baby, when they came back up in there, this when the shit really started getting popping. All of a sudden, baby, you know, because Emma found out that, you know, this wasn't 100% real at this particular moment. And she really didn't want them there no more, right? So they was finna sit here and do it for real this time. Okay, they finna go. She say the kid's name, say her husband's name, do that like a couple of times. Next thing you know, Sky really just start going in. Mama just start. I said, what in the American Horror Story is going on? Because Mama started like she was possessed a little bit. Eyes rolling in the back of her head. You just saw the white. And they was like, girl, what's going on? Her body creaking and stuff like this. I said, what's happening? What's happening? You know, and I said, girl, snap the fuck up out of this. You acting real good. She came back and she had stuff all up on her face, like veins and shit just popping out. They was like, girl, look, her blood pressure and everything was going up and her heart rate. And then she just started saying all this stuff. Baby, Mama came through and she was talking in the voices of the last moments of the kids, everybody that was there. Like the husband, he was on the phone with somebody named Paul, and basically he had went into business or took a tip or whatever from Paul, and basically it was a fucked up tip. And you know, the business was going down, they was about to be broke, and he was like, we gotta fix this shit, okay? And then the daughter, she was on the phone texting somebody about how, you know, she went at home and all this stuff and got to watch the kids and all that, whatever. And then little Kyron, she doing the Kyron, and then bitch, she did their last moments, like when they got hit in the head, the daddy, when the girl got suffocated, and when little Kyron drowned. Because baby, when she got to little Kyron, baby, the water started pouring out her mouth. I said, cut it off. I said, wake this bitch up and get her out. Get her out, because we don't play games like this, right? Girl, they was trying to wake up, and Ash was like, why don't you do something? I was like, baby, we can't, we not supposed to do that because we don't know how she would react to it, okay? If we get her out of this state, we gotta let her come to on her own. Baby, when she finally do, girl, it was a mess. She was looking at Emma with like fear. Next thing you know, Emma gets up, and then she comes back. And then, you know, all of a sudden, Emma went and she locked down the house. I said, so you pissed off that they was doing this and you found out that it was real for real, or you feel like they faking it? Which one is it? Why is you locking the house down? Baby, they was like, tell this bitch to unlock the house. We ain't gonna take no money or whatever. We don't know what just happened. Just let us go. Girl, she sat her ass back down, and it wasn't the fragile Emma that we saw when we first after she got beat the fuck up. Okay, I was just like, what happened? What happened? What happened? Girl, do you know Emma turned into Monique? Emma started, I'm sorry, y'all. Emma started talking real clear. I said, excuse me. She was like, what she said? Boogeyman. I said, wait a minute, baby. What happened to the stutter and the, I can't really get my words out. What happened to that? Baby, Mama was talking real extra crystal clear. Mama was walking without her cane. At one point, Mama ran up them steps. I mean, she flew up them steps. I said, damn, Monique, you light on the feet real good. I said, what the fuck is going on? Girl, come to freak to find out. She was like, y'all ain't going nowhere. And then she gonna look at Sky, and she said, tell your friends why you're not going nowhere. And then Sky was like, because you killed your family. I said, oh my. I said, Monique, I said, Miss Emma, why? Why? And then Ashley was like, oh my God, you killed them. Girl, next thing you know, I said, Ashley, you should have kept your mouth closed, but it was time for you to go. She was the first one to get shot. No, Greg got shot right here because he was saying some stuff, and she wound up shooting him in the lung. And I'm sitting here like, now, if he got shot right here, that to me, that felt like the lung, chest, or whatever. He was walking around and breathing perfectly fine at one point. I said, oh, maybe it's the adrenaline or whatever. That was an issue for me as well. But then Ashley got her ass shot and killed. Okay, and I said, baby, you had to go. I didn't feel no way about that because I feel like she was playing her in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I said, I don't trust certain type of white people around us black folks, and especially when y'all be trying to be, they be trying to be our managers and they be trying to be our accountants and stuff like that. Granted, it can happen with anybody, but I look very much more closely when it's them sometimes. Like, what you doing? What you doing? What you got at stake for this? You really on the up and up? Can I trust you? I don't know. I figured out myself, but I got my eye on you. And I was just like, okay. They started running around the house. At the end of the day, girl, she chasing them around the house, and I was really confused about the little gun that she had. The little gun that she had looked like it had either 6 or 8 bullets up in it. Mostly probably just 6, right? And I said, then you done shot multiple rounds. How are you still shooting off this little pea shooter, right? Girl, little Randy and Jesse up in the kitchen. He done put her in the closet. He trying to peek behind the door to see if she out there. Because at one point, they was behind the same wall. And she had looked over and she didn't see nothing. But he looked around. I said, baby, she behind you. And sure enough, she wound up shooting that motherfucker twice. Okay? Jesse, I said, girl, you should have stayed up in the cupboard. You should have stayed up in the cupboard. But she came about the closet. Okay? And I just said, that is crazy. Sky up in the room, in Kendall's room, her daughter's room with Greg. Greg sitting there. I said, now, Greg, didn't you get shot right here? How are you functioning so good like this? Okay? You know, they trying to run around in the house and all this stuff or whatever and trying to get away. And the whole time I'm thinking like, why is she doing this? Bitch, what is your problem? Why did you kill your family, girl? What is the problem, girl? And then she said, y'all can come out. Why don't y'all ask the question that you want to ask, right? The when, where, why, who. Ain't that what they taught us in school and stuff like that? I said, girl, what? Monique was funny because it felt like they were, like she was improvising all of her lines at this point. That's what it felt like. And the shit was funny, especially when she said, you know what? Because you little motherfuckers, y'all complain about every goddamn thing. I said, bitch, you know what? I agree with you, okay? But at this point, I can't because, girl, what is your issue? What is your deal? Basically, the reason why she took them kids and their whole family out is because she was pissed. And you want to know why? Mama said she ain't want them kids in the first place. Because listen, Scott said, you know what? Kyron, he didn't understand why you was doing this. And he just a step. No, Kendall didn't understand why you was doing this or whatever. And she was so confused. She died confused and everything. Lil Kyron, he died and he accepted it. He thought that he had did something wrong and he deserved it or whatever. You know, so she going down and just trying to play on it or whatever. Her sensibilities to make her feel like you're going to regret this and you should feel bad trying to play on her heartstrings and her emotions. And it seemed like it was working for a second, right? Because you see Emma's face and she just softened up looking like, oh my God, what have I done? Baby, and all of a sudden in that quick second, she snapped out of it and said, fuck them kids and fuck you too. I said, God damn. It was the way Monique said the shit that made me fucking laugh, y'all. I said, girl, what? You are wrong. But what had happened was, she said, basically, she came up out the hood and she wasn't finna go back to the hood. She said, I want to stay up in this neighborhood. I'm not finna go back to the other hood. To the hood where I came from, because listen, my husband, he came up on me, we married each other, and he promised me a whole life of luxury, okay? He promised me a life of luxury and all that stuff, and I didn't even want them goddamn kids. He wanted them kids, okay? And now you up here talking about something, we going broke or whatever, to the point that I'm gonna have to, have to go and go to another neighborhood and all this shit. I said, oh, bitch, all of this just so that you could stay in this same zip code and you can have the money and everything. I said, that is trifling. I really wish they would have expounded on it and made it more deeper than that. But then again, if you look at some of these ID channels or, Snapped and all this stuff, sometimes motherfuckers really do just be killing their people just for the simplest shit just like that. And I be like, are you serious? Are you serious? Just because you wanted the jewels and you wanted the luxury and all of that stuff about it, you gonna kill the whole family? I said, all right, ma'am. You know, that is what it is. Girl, at one point she was walking down the room because Sky had left Greg in one room. He had went to another room. And she was up in the hall talking and all that stuff. And then at this point, when she walked past the door, she said, wait a minute. I never left that door open. She turned to the door, took that gun, and said, pop, 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 pop. I said, oh, yeah. I said, now, Greg, you got to be dead after this, okay? You done already got hit in the lung, and you still walking around perfectly fine. Baby, you got to be dead after this because, I mean, when I say the bullets went pop, 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 and then all of a sudden you heard a boom, the body thud on the I shouldn't laugh, but it was funny to me. And then the door opened up and he crawling out. I said, nigga, just stay. He died right there. She was about to pop him in the head, but she ran out of bullets. I said, finally you ran out of bullets after you done popped off a good 15 out that little gun. I said, now what in the world? Girl, she was slicing and dicing motherfuckers up too. I said, child, this don't make no sense. Okay? So at this point, Greg is gone. Jesse and Skylar are the only two that's left. Mama was sitting down there on that couch, you know, on the stairs waiting on her to come down because she was like, listen, ain't no point in playing this cat and mouse game with y'all. Y'all want the code and y'all trying to get out, so you will come down here to me. And it's only one space and one spot up in here that has the Wi-Fi, so you will got to come down to me, you know. Baby, Jessie was the next one to go. She wound up killing her. Sky, of course, was the next one that she attacked and she tried to kill. And Sky eventually, baby, when Sky had her, she said, listen, bitch, you got my shirt on? Pause. She was also mad. And I'm talking about Emma, aka Monique. She had got mad that they had her going around killing their asses and getting her motherfucking dress messed up. And she said, this is my favorite goddamn dress. I said, bitch, ain't nobody tell you to shoot nobody. Ain't nobody tell you to kill nobody. And your dress would have still been clean, bitch. I said, are you serious? That was funny to me, okay? And she had got on that floor and was fighting with Sky. She got on top of her. I said, oh, what is this? Monique, what are you doing? This is bad. Why are you trying to kill that girl? Y'all could work together, you know what I'm saying? Girl, Sky had got her little gun, and she was like, listen, girl, ain't no bullets up in there, so what are you doing? You ain't gonna do nothing. And she said, pop. Girl, Sky somehow found some bullets and reloaded the gun, and it went right here in Monique's face, and Mama just... And then Dad, okay? Next thing you know, somebody was like, well, girl, how you get up out the house? Because that was the whole point. They needed to get, oh, my mouth is dry. They needed to get the code to get up out the house because we had forgot about the whole fact that she had them locked up in that damn house, okay? And, you know, we see, like, I think it said a year later or sometime later or whatever, we see Sky. Sky is on the same talk show, and she was telling her experience, and she was like, basically, because at one point they tried to get the mailman his attention, and then the windows and everything in the house was bulletproof. So when she finally got their attention, or they got the mailman's attention, who was listening to music, he was like, these damn kids, and just walked off because he thought they was just playing. You know what I'm saying? He ain't paying no mind. But when she was on that interview with the lady at the talk show, she said basically she figured out after a while what the code was, and then she got out. And I was like, huh. And then the lady was like, and just to think, 2 years ago, Emma was right here on this stage telling us the sob story about how these people came in and killed her family, and come to find out she was the one that did it herself. Oh my goodness, you know? And then all of a sudden, it was the way that Sky had said something, and she moved her hair back and she looked up in the camera, and it was like this very devious look. And I said, bitch, is she possessed with the spirit of freaking Emma? Because it looked very sinister and everything. I said, oh, child, now if they want to do a second one, they could do a second one. I like that. You know, it was cute. It was cute. It wasn't deep. It wasn't bad, especially for a BET movie. It was not bad. It was suspenseful. It kept me intrigued. So y'all did good, BT. Y'all did good for what y'all could. You know what I'm saying? Monique, you did a good job too. I really do feel like Monique was improvising on a lot of this stuff. But you guys tell me how you do. If you watch it, go ahead and look at it. It's on BET Plus or 9 and 10. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put it on BET eventually because they always do. But yeah, check it out. It's called The Reading. Okay, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.